Good afternoon, everyone. This is Kevin. In 2022, China passed Germany as the number 2 exporter of passenger automobiles in the world. And in 2023, last year, they passed Japan. Going back just 3 years to 2020, China exported 1.08 million cars to the rest of the world. In 2023, they exported over 5 million cars. That's an increase of 5 times in just 3 years. So back home, when you see headlines about the trade war, or you see politicians on TV talking about the China trade war, and all the tariffs, and all the friendshoring, and all the nearshoring, and all the movement of supply chains around, just remember that while this was going on in the past 3 years, China in 2022 passed Germany for cars. In 2023, they passed Japan. In 2024, their target is the United States and European heavy equipment market. And in 2025 and beyond, they're going to be taking over aerospace and passenger aircraft. I already know the reflexive answer most people have when they hear news like this, that Chinese quality is lousy, that people are buying pieces of junk that are going to fall apart in 3 or 4 years. It's just not true. As the production has increased geometrically, so has the quality control. The quality has gotten very, very good. And this is the same thing we saw with the Japanese in the 1970s and 80s, and with the Koreans in the 1980s and 90s. As they built more cars and more equipment, their quality gets better. This here is a chart from J.D. Power and Associates, which shows the improvement of Chinese quality over time. You see that in 2008, the Chinese reported an average of 220 manufacturing defects or problems per 100 cars, which was more than twice what American cars in the American market were reporting. It is now at parity. It's now even. So you can look at the chart in 2 ways. One, that Chinese quality has more than doubled in only a decade. Or you can also say that American quality has not moved in over a decade, that they've stood still. Besides just what you see in the headline, that China is now the number 1 exporter of cars in the world, there's a lot of problems here that are going to stick around now for a long time for car makers in Europe, North America, and in Asia. The first is just human nature. It's that value buyers and budget buyers like to brag about how much money we've saved. We like to tell our friends and family what a great deal we got. My first cars were beaters, and I loved them. My first car was a 1979 Ford LTD sedan, fire engine red. It was the unlikeliest car in the world for a young guy in college, but I loved it. My dad, who was a home builder, had a 1972 Datsun pickup truck. All the other guys on the construction jobs would be driving Dodge or Chevy or Ford trucks, and they used to tease him. They would say that every time he took a power saw out of the back of his truck, the insurable value of his vehicle dropped in half, and it was probably true, right? But he loved that truck. We are very proud for years of the buys that we make where we save a lot of money, and we're happy to tell all of our friends and family how much money we save compared to them. And now, around the world, 5 million families now have a reason to brag to all their friends and family about the great deal they just got on the Chinese car. The next issue is that there will need to be a repair and maintenance ecosystem that springs up to support all the buyers, even the do-it-yourselfers, of people who bought these new cars. Repair shops, Napa, Advance Auto, Pep Boys, and you need a whole lot of mechanics who are certified to be able to repair these new cars all over the world. Another feature of this industry is that car buyers tend to stay loyal to the brand even as their conditions improve or change over time. So if you were really happy, for example, with your Toyota Tercel or your Corolla, and later on your family has grown or you're making a lot more money, now you're considering the Toyota SUVs or maybe the Lexus. And that was one way that the Japanese car makers really expanded their footprint in the American market, was by over time adding more options, more models at higher price points so they can keep the markets that they won in the 1980s. Now, the Chinese brands are going to take those advantages too. If you look too at what the automakers in the US and Europe and Japan can do to win these markets back, it's hard to see. The biggest news from last year was these record concessions that the United Auto Workers just won from Ford and GM. It's great for the union, it's great for the rank and file workers for these companies, but it does strongly suggest that they are going to be moving out of the budget and value markets. Are they even going to be able to build a car anymore for buyers who are in the $25,000 range? Is there anyone in Germany who can do that? Do we expect Volkswagen or Audi or Mercedes or BMW to be building cars for people on the low end of the consumer market? Or is everybody just going after the people who can afford $40,000 and more for a car? The Chinese brands are making money at under $20,000 for a new car, a nice looking new car. And they're doing it in countries all around the world. They're doing it in Europe, and they would be doing it in North America if it weren't for the tariffs there. The central theme of this channel is that the conventional wisdom back home is wrong. The politicians are lying to us. Wall Street is lying to us. These big businesses who are saying they're moving supply chains, they're lying. We are in these factories every single day, and we see the quality that comes out the back doors, and we see how busy they are. The 7th busiest port in the whole world is right over there, and we see how busy they are. We are losing the trade war at every point of the supply chain, in every supply chain. And now we're losing our consumer markets too. And so we either need new strategies or new leadership, or both, and quick. Thanks for listening. Be good.